Superheroes are done.
It has been a journey to remember for me watching the 5 seasons of The Boys as the diabolical superhero drama boils down to one grand finale coming up. I know the show is still the milder version of the original comics, but there has still been plenty of gruesome deaths. And now, as the countdown begins for the final episode, I wonder who comes next. See, it is obvious that some major characters will not make it out of this freak show alive, and my money is on seeing the likes of Kimiko, and obviously Homelander go down in a bloody finale. But what about Billy Butcher, the man who started it all by forming the titular Boys anti-supe group? If you go by the source material, Butcher should be dead by the end of it, but then the show is not really following the comic book narrative, which means that there are quite a few possibilities around his fate. In this video, I will take you through the different scenarios where Billy Butcher makes it out of this alive, and also the chances that he might not.
Blood and bone.
What a comic-accurate ending might look like. For those who don't know, Billy Butcher is killed by Huey in the comic series, but not before he kills Black Noir, who is basically the evil Homelander clone behind most of the despicable things that were thought to be done by Homelander. That ship has sailed for the show because Noir has been killed off already, and Homelander is the monumental evil that remains to be destroyed. However, things can still go down in a slightly similar manner. If the show tries to be faithful to the source material in the slightest, the most basic outcome will look something like this. Butcher will figure out a way to take out Homelander, but he wouldn't stop at that. He would then go after anyone with Compound V in their system in an effort to leave behind a world without supes, and this will put him in conflict with the likes of Huey and Starlight. Huey might still be the one to kill him if things don't work out, and it will be an emotional end to a remarkable journey for the duo. It will hit hard because Huey is the closest to some genuine brotherly affection that Butcher has ever shown, and circumstances might still force him to kill Butcher for the greater good. But, as likely as Butcher's death might seem, let us quickly check out some of the other probable outcomes where he survives. Moreau might be the key to his survival. So let us start with the assumption that the showrunners have thrown the source material out of the window and they want to create something unique. Although many of the actors have revealed that the show wouldn't exactly come with a happy ending, let us try and imagine one for Butcher, where he gets the job done. But even if Homelander is killed, Butcher has a deadly tumor growing inside him, and it might be powerful enough to end his life. So what can be a probable outcome where he doesn't die? Well, the answer lies in one of the characters from Gen V, who has already been introduced in the previous episode. Yes, I am talking about Moreau, and she can do the trick with her blood manipulation abilities. We have seen her heal polarity before, and she even brought her sister back to life after her throat was slit open, leaving her to bleed out. And who can forget the way she rejuvenated Thomas Godolkin from a disfigured burn victim to a normal fellow with great hair. So, if someone can heal Billy Butcher from his near-death ailment, it is Moreau and her remarkable blood work. As of now, she has no real reason to help him out, but she does idolize Starlight, and if she is convinced to cure Butcher as a reward for his effort in bringing down Homelander, she might use her powers to deliver one happy ending for the character. I have a feeling that she has been brought back into the mix of things for a bigger purpose than just a random cameo. She can have a key role to play in eliminating Homelander, or at least helping out in the process. Curing Butcher of his condition might just be the icing on the cake that we are not ready for.
You're damn right I could. And if he died, I would cry at his funeral, but I would be proud of him.
What if Kessler keeps him alive? The curious case of Joe Kessler has been one of the most intriguing parts of Butcher's storyline. I love how the character basically works as a venom-like entity, guiding Butcher to give in to his darker thoughts. And fans have even theorized that Kessler is the one who gives the host body of Butcher supernatural powers. The series creator Eric Kripke has maintained that Kessler is not the actual tumor in Butcher's body, but more of a dissociative identity created by the tumor. But even that adds up. If you consider this to be a case of a parasitic entity inhabiting the physical body of Butcher, then his death has a whole new meaning. There might be a scenario where Butcher is seemingly dead, but he still survives because Kessler continues to live. I am not sure how to define this sort of living, but you can imagine this to be like an empty vessel where Kessler continues to reside, like a parasite completely taking over the host. This is probably worse than death in some ways, but it is definitely in line with some of the twisted things that the show frequently throws up. On the other hand, if Kessler is actually the fuel behind the tumor, if the boys come up with a way to separate him from the host, then the tumor might be gone, and Butcher might be alive and kicking. Can Kimiko or Soldier Boy use the radioactive blast to cure him? I never thought of Soldier Boy's radioactive blast as anything other than destructive until I saw him make a seemingly immortal soup mortal by taking away the effects of V1. Now, Frenchie and Sage have come up with an experiment model that has apparently worked on Kimiko, where they will enable her with the powers of Soldier Boy. It is yet to be seen if she can execute a radioactive blast as well, but assuming that she does, she can use it to a good effect in curing Butcher of his condition. Firstly, all the ill effects of Compound V might be gone, and if Kimiko is not able to do it, someone can free Soldier Boy from his cryogenic sleep and get the job done. I'm curious why the show would explore something like this property of the radioactive blast, unless it has a proper impact in the climax of the series. Yes, it is more likely that you will see this power being used against Homelander to wear out the effects of V1, but I also think that Butcher might well be a viable beneficiary of this. Sister Sage might come up with a cure. It is about time that the smartest person in the world lives up to her reputation. I mean, her mistakes have been almost irritating of late, and I would love it if she can redeem herself in the grand finale. One of the ways to do this would be to devise a cure for Butcher, and I am sure that she has the brains to think of something. If you could imagine a scenario where Homelander is killed and the world order is fixed, she will have an opportunity to live out the life that she always dreamt of. What is stopping her from using her extreme intelligence one last time as a token of gratitude for the man who rids the world of such evil? Also, with Frenchie gone, she might be the only one who can possibly come up with something that will cure Butcher, because I cannot imagine the likes of Huey or MM pulling it off. What will be the effects of V1 on Butcher? I have realized that Butcher would have been dead by now without his superpower. However, he is still living on borrowed time, and all that can change if he gets his hands on some V1. He might save a couple doses for Starlight and Kimiko, but if he injects himself with V1, I am curious about how it might turn out. As for Homelander, it worked wonders and made him stronger and ageless. Even with his superpowers, Butcher is nowhere as strong as Homelander, which means that the V1 can also affect him adversely. But it's not really that bad a gamble when you consider the fact that he would be dead anyway without trying it out. On the off chance that it works, the V1 can cure him of his deadly tumor and give him a fresh lease of life. The way I look at it, Billy Butcher is the protagonist of the story in more ways than one. It started with his journey of revenge against Vought and Homelander, and now it comes a full circle with whatever the climax has to offer. Irrespective of whether he lives or dies, I think we can all agree that he has been a memorable character in the history of television, and Karl Urban has absolutely owned the role. I just hope that they don't butcher the ending, because the show deserves better with all the quality episodes that it has delivered over the years. I don't even mind if the narrative keeps room for a spin-off series, but a half-baked climax will really hurt the fans. So keep your fingers crossed, as only a couple of days remain before we get to see how things end for Butcher and the other important character. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the fate of Billy Butcher in the season finale, and also share your views on how the show should end things in general. And lastly, if you appreciate the efforts to bring you this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.